So I'm recording a lot of stuff in advance just because I'm sure my teeth will be hurting for the next few weeks and I'm not sure how I will sound during that time. So I'm playing it safe and recording a lot of these early. So obviously I feel like this problem has always existed on the internet. It's not anything new. I experienced the same things when I was a beginner artist, at least in my case when I was younger in 2019 when I started publicly posting my art. One of the things I was so worried about and anxiety-ridden about was the idea of any of my beginner animation memes being put on those cringe compilations, because I feel like those were especially prevalent and rampant in the areas adjacent to the animation meme community in any way, shape, or form. Cringe compilations I was always worried about. I would check them just in case any of my videos ended on them, and that scared me so bad. And while I don't think cringe compilations are something that I see a lot of anymore, if at all, which is not really, I'm still sure that they exist in different spaces, but I feel like it's just become a general thing where it's not limited to cringe compilations. It could just be on the person's account, especially on TikTok is where I notice this a lot, is when a beginner artist shares their artwork or happens to get an artwork with a lot of traction and happens to be a beginner artist. There's not a lot of positivity in those comments, basically. To simplify it down, while it's not anything inherently, mean or derogatory, there's still, I'm not exactly sure how to word this, but in many ways it still feels like you're belittling the artist, especially with the jokes being at the expense of the beginner artist artwork and everything. And while, I understand that like a lot of these people are doing it for the sake of the joke, it's still, at the beginner artist expense. And I feel like a lot of beginner artists get unwanted attraction, especially on TikTok, because of participation in trends or slideshows or whatever, because of the algorithm pushing those things. And while that should be a good and positive thing in uplifting artists, in a lot of ways it's to their detriment because it reaches the wrong type of spaces, essentially. And this wasn't something that I think I had to worry about when I was starting out as a beginner artist, and it wasn't as rampant, I think, when I was starting out. A lot of me feels really bad for those who are starting out on their art journey and have to be discouraged because of these things, because a lot of these comments can be damaging. That's undeniable. But in terms of advice to beginner artists regarding all of these issues, I think the only two things I can really say on this is, one, though it's really discouraging and it may seem difficult to find spaces of recognition, you will find your people. And that will take a while, and you're probably not going to get a lot of reception initially. I feel like a lot of the people that were viewing my art originally were friends or friends of friends that I knew in real life. But over time, as you grow and develop, and as those support systems are in place for you, your art is going to improve by surrounding yourself with people. And that's one of the many ways that I was pushed to improve my art and develop, is through the support of other people. And that will take a while, but I promise it will happen, eventually. And I guess the second note of advice is find that community, and it will help you grow your art as a whole. Not even just your art style itself, but rather, the reception that you get. Especially when adhering to the algorithms, I know how difficult it can be to have something get popular and then to have to deal with an influx of not so nice people. It's a bummer and it really, really sucks. But try to sift through that and find those who are supportive and continue to uplift artists. And that goes for everyone, I think. I try to be supportive of beginner artists and mutual up a lot of beginner artists, especially on TikTok, because I love supporting their art journeys. I think it's wonderful to boost other artists up and offer support when I can, because honestly, I was in the exact same shoes, and to have those types of people for you and helping you grow is so, so important. But yeah, I think this is a very straightforward issue, and I don't really think it'll dwindle down anytime soon. But I do think in many ways these problems have sort of evolved from the time that I was beginner artist and a lot more prevalent in internet culture as a whole. Don't be discouraged. It's rough out there, guys. But yeah,